teams based on how good their mom is at League of Legends.
Exactly.
Oh, so good.
My mom is gold 3. You're in. All right, well, we're getting on into game number 3 here. What I really want to see is KC prioritizing a winning matchup for Kana. I do think that's actually so critical for them. He does really have a strong laning phase, and when he has that pushing matchup, you know, give him some sort of advantage against Zeus, get something going on the map, because it felt like last game they really just had no control in the lanes. And once, you know, Targamas was moving mid to help Flatty, then him and Khalees kind of fell behind. They lost out in XP, they lost summoners, and they were just on the back foot the whole time. So would really like to see that.
Well, we'll see whether they do manage to get it. Of course, this is a switch of sides, so blue side going over to KC for the first time this particular best of 5. See whether they can utilize that in order to get themselves a priority pick that really can point them in the right direction, as they have banned away a couple of Peanuts good champions, as well as that Akali from Zeka. One more ban, and it will be the Kalista being taken away.
Oh, that's actually interesting. I was kind of wondering if they were going to be willing to leave it up, because this is the Poppy this time around hasn't been banned.
Yeah.
And that's something that Delight has very consistently gotten banned against him, and particularly when your opponents are probably going to be looking towards the Kalista, because we're getting deeper into the series. There was an angle there. Also, I always love when teams are very cognizant of the Peanut Zyra. You know, never waste the ban on that. The Nidalee Defy, great choices, as a Sejuani comes through here for Yike. And I'm with you, Azil. I do think it's more complicated because Humble Life is on the red side, and
Yeah,
I would be shocked if they don't save that counter pick for Zeus. Unless KC commit to a pick for Kana earlier, something like the Jax that we've seen. Jax Sejuani is obviously great.
Yep.
And Jax, his counters are definitely there. I think something like the Gragas comes to mind, which we know Zeus plays, but maybe just getting the 2v2 makes it worth it, as the Ashe does get picked up.
How nervous are we of the Peanut Zyra, by the way? Do we think...
Surely they've learned. It depends on who you ask. If you're a K-Corp fan, I don't think you're nervous at all. Oh, instead,
the pick away.
It's going to be the pick away. There is a very small chance that this is a jungle flex, right? Theoretically, could go for that.
Oh,
but
that means no Zyra. Yeah, I'm into that.
That's the main thing that we obviously are trying to look for.
Please,
but most
please.
likely, this is just going towards Zeus, as he will be able to try and make his impact known. And Kana had an incredibly pivotal Jax performance just yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he has played Gragas this year as well, and Gragas to me is always that kind of priority matchup against the Jax. It really just shuts down everything the Jax wants to do. You have out-sustain, you out-poke. Obviously, if you are a really good Jax player, then sometimes they can kind of play it aggressively, use their health to just push in the wave and then constantly reset. But Gragas can make things very, very difficult. I would be excited to see if Kana was confident to bring it out here.
Also into Ashe.
Yeah.
Be good.
Well, the Jhin has been locked in. I actually like this, taking this away from Viper as well. I feel like Kalista and Viper have been the best Jhin players this tournament. I say with a bit of chagrin because I'm not a huge fan of the champion in general, but there's a gangplank, boys.
So I will say, you know, well Chronicler's giving me a little smirk. I can tell you don't like the taste of the GP, but...
I've yet to be impressed, and I think partially that was some of the builds, but I've yet to be impressed by a GP. I feel like recently the champion just hasn't had the same oomph.
I'm personally still an orange enjoyer, and I do think that GP plus Jhin is actually a really nice combo.
I do agree with that.
You drop the GP ulti on the Ashe's head, then all of a sudden, you know, you're trying to retreat back, but Jhin ulti is slowing you down as well. That can be pretty difficult. And I do think it is considered to be a pretty decent matchup into the Jax. It's kind of like a neutralizing matchup, more so than a bullying matchup, and something where if you can scale well and perform in those team fights, you do have a shot. But Zeka on comfort, I don't even care what ultimates he can steal. Just the fact that he's playing Silas, it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, you're allowed to play that in any draft.
Yeah, and he's got Cannon Barrage and Glacial Prison. So if you do actually talk about the ultimates...
And Jhin ultimates.
Yeah, there's a reason I didn't say that one. I was happy to not see him go,
You're sitting next to perhaps one of the biggest Jhin haters.
You steal,
on the
Jhin ulti,
don't even bother killing
the Jhin, and they just pop the ulti point blank on his face.
Yeah,
that's the play.
Oh man, that were actually a bit of flashbacks to a few days ago, but I don't want to talk about it because I think it might be mean, as we already have some bans coming on through, as the Poppy and the Rise to be taken away here by Dandy and the gang, as well as the Nocturne being removed. And still not thinking that this Jax is a jungle.
Yeah, I do think there's a lot of risks being taken here by Humble Life though, right? Because they end up, yes, they throw a ban towards the Rise just to secure Zeka some of the other matchups he might struggle with. As there is...
That's a peanut
yeah,
special.
That's the Zach. The hard engage. They want to deny from
You're one
Humble
step
Life here.
closer to a Zyra guy.
It's so interesting though because when I look at Silas plus Jack solo lanes, I'm thinking they're going AD jungle, right? I'm thinking, you know, Viego. I'm thinking Xin Zhao. I'm thinking this kind of thing. Like you want physical damage. So to me, it's like, yeah, like you wouldn't want a Zach. I feel like really in this draft. So that's why the ban confuses me a little bit. But maybe they're happy to play into the Xin Zhao. If they're saying, you know, we'd rather play into that, then I can kind of understand.
And they're saving the counter pick here for Delight. And we're getting to the point where there are very few engaged champions left. And with a lot of enchanters, I do think you can struggle a lot more. Even utility champs like the Bard comes to mind that we've seen paired many times here with the Jhin. But instead, it's just going to be the Rel to come through here for Targamas. That is combined with the Sejuani. Amazing setup. You have a lot of big team fight ultimates that you can use for this as well.
Circles. That's what we decided to go with here for KC. I actually
Circle
really
palm.
like, I like how this looks as far as the team fights go. Of course, you're adding a lot of great ultimates to the Silas, but that doesn't matter if you can get your wombo to work out.
Absolutely, and for Vladdy, this is ultimate comfort. You know, he is the best vector, in my opinion, in the LEC. Even once this really started falling off in the LEC, he continued to play it to great success. So, you know, if you are a KC fan, you're feeling very happy about the fact that he is on such a strong, comfortable champion.
This is some life energy coming out here. Of course, life in the LCK and the LPL was a bit of that set support enjoyer, and that's what Delight's going to go with here today.
Yeah, we have some in NA as well who used to always love to play this. You can actually E the Rel out of his W, out of the Crashdown very, very easily. And when you are forcing some of these potential all-ins, the W can be quite strong. You know, it's an interesting pick. I do think it's difficult to play out in the team fights, but you're looking towards things like the Sejuani, who normally is going, you know, in towards Heartsteel and stuff like that. So it's a lot of HP. If you can dunk him into the back line, could have some power. But this is high risk, high reward. It does feel like quite a risky pick, and not one that I'd expect to see in Game 3.
So their engage is Ash Arrow. And stealing an ultimate from the opposing team.
No. It's just suplex. Stuff, you just throw Delight in. He just wanders forward real fast and just suplexes into the back line.
They need to engage onto you first. Otherwise, who are you going to throw in if there's no one in front of you? You can't just run up to them.
Yeah, you just run up to whoever's in the front.
Invented Flash.
Exactly. There you go. And that's up like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Kanna's about to save EU. All right, guys, let's see whether it is going to happen. Of course, match point on the line for both teams heading into this one. And already, this is a very different flavor of draft. I feel like HLE have decided, okay, now we can have...
What flavor would you say it is?
This is a spicy
not chocolate.
flavor.
It's
chocolate
not
with
vanilla.
chili.
Maybe it's chocolate chili. That could actually work out.
I can see that. It's like, you know, chocolate, but then the set is the spice at the end.
You got a bit of that spice on top. All right, I like it. A little bit of some delayed stuff going on as far as the fan chants are concerned, but a lot of volume here in Lol Park. KC fans keeping up with HLE on their home turf is completely ridiculous. Very, very impressive. It's as if they have a megaphone. It's extraordinary.
Now, I actually wanted to go back to the ice cream conversation. Because,
oh, yeah, please.
What's your favorite? We have had extensive discussion about this, so we don't need to revisit it. Just want to know yours.
I like salted caramel.
Okay,
oh,
that's a good choice.
I think it's a pretty good
That's
one.
a classic.
It is that, or anything with peanut butter, to be honest. You know, like
yeah. So I'm an anything
peanut butter
with coffee guy.
swirl type thing, you know.
But I do respect the peanut butter.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not really common in a lot of ice cream apps, but that sounds great.
I don't eat a lot of ice cream, to be honest, but growing up, you know, after a soccer game, you get the dub, you go get some ice cream.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, Zeus is going to hit a barrel. That's what's sort of happening here on the top side of the map.
Top cap.
There we go. It's beautifully done. And kind of really wanting to hit the passive onto Zeus here. Zeus not wanting to allow that one to happen. And does manage to land the barrel chain. So that is a good start to this lane here for the Gangplank. We've seen this matchup many times. We saw it go quite well as Zeka is going to miss his first chain. Good sign here for Vladdy, who's going to be able to utilize that range advantage on his way out.
Also, do note Zeka did not go for Resolve. Often we see melee into ranged mid laners go for something of the sorts. Yeah, instead he went for cookies as the life.
Okay, yeah, Kalista's going to have his face broken already. cleanses immediately, and that is going to push them out of the lane. An understandable thumbs up, and by understandable, I mean only because he's been spamming it.
I mean, I actually really like it, right? You go for it, you trade out the Ignite, yeah, you get the cleanse, but also a big chunk. Zeka, I mean, he's in the spot where you're so low, all you can do is trade, but basically, he's going to have to base here very shortly unless he can get a bailout from Peanut to help him push out the wave. Those early trades and the lack of the resolve tree really punishing here. And Vladdy is just doing this lane very well. He dodged that early abscond abduct, and then just starting with Q level 1, he's playing area, and I believe I saw the Scorch Burn over on Zeka. So, you know, really just trying to ramp up the pressure early.
Throwing out the chain there, and you can see able to drink that potion, get himself back up to at least half health. Wanting to rely on Kingslayer to keep that health bar okay, I guess. As here on the top side, some very even trades between these two, but these lanes are going so much better for KC here in Game 3 rather than Game 2, right? That's the comparison that I want to make. Right now, very, very competitive. I know a lot of people weren't super psyched about the fact that KC had barely any lane priority in game number 2.
Yeah.
So now playing towards that a little bit more here in game number 3.
We also have Yike covering as they shove out the bot lane, making sure, as he still has his topside jungle up, just to ensure that Kalist and Targamas are fine. Lane not quite crashed yet, so Delight and Viper could maybe set up for Peanut if he goes for the wraparound here.
Yeah, I would love to see mid lane as well, because it looked like Zeka couldn't get the crash in, and yeah, so that's why he's having to TP back.
Oh my god, it's the Peanut classic.
Yeah, he's not looking for it by the looks, and he is over the wall, so he did flash it, yeah.
Oh, so that's kind of a bit of a costly one. We'll see if he can make a gank happen mid, though. Vladdy just TP'd, so if he gets chunked down too low, that is going to be pretty punishing.
That is a Peanut classic in both ways. Both the flash over the wall, and then Peanut just going for a play that completely falls flat.
Flash over the wall and then the no gank.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they knew.
Well, that is not super great for Peanut, but the fact that Zeka was able to get a good trade after the teleport is going to help him out, and you can see already things evening in that mid lane. Is Silas relatively famous after his win in 2022 off the back of this pick in large reason. Has already had some success on it so far this tournament as well. As he is going to be able to get the shove in, Vladdy will be able to pick up that wave just fine. Peanut also going back to base, and you can see HLE with some numbers in their direction, but not anything to really write home about. The lead is currently to the tune of about 300, as Zeus unable to avoid the barrel. As Scanner also not able to get his passive off, as the counter-strike is pretty valuable there. The trial by fire. It took a while for me to remember.
Yeah, Zeka going for another back, just wants to keep his health bar nice and healthy, as Vladdy has, again, been pressuring him a good amount. When the crash comes through, I think it's still actually close to even when this actually is taken, as now we do have the dragon being started here. Zeka is like, do I need to join? Do you need help? Looks like he is fine, as obviously Vladdy, no TP right now. They do spot this, but I don't know if they can really contest this.
Cannon Barrage just came available, so that might give them some sort of a way in. Yike getting all of the information.
Oh, I know about this one. We have Zeka on the roam already. Maybe just let it go.
Looking a little dangerous.
Yeah.
And there it is. The first Chemtech Drake going to be taken here by Peanut with the help of his friends. Next going to be a Cloud. We'll see what the soul will be after that. If you want sort of the trio of the least impactful dragons, then maybe it's going to be an Ocean Soul this game. But it also could be a Hextech, so you never know. Just have to see how lucky we're going to get as Peanut now moving up towards these grubs. As Zeka is going to steal away a Chaos Storm. Great gravity field there from Vladdy to get him out of there.
But I actually love this play because it's the grubs right here. So you go for that big chunk. You know he has no TP, so now it's so hard for him to join. Exactly. Prio top, Prio mid. Support is here from both sides.
Well, Delight will be able to spot them out here. Great Scryer's Bloom usage from Zeus. That should mean Peanut's able to grab at least 2 of them. This third one not going to happen, as it's a good shattering strike there, as the base breaker going to come on through. Only level 4 here from Delight, but he's got the Haymaker to keep himself alive. That's still going to be first blood going over to HLE, and it's Zeka that picks it up. Yike should be able to kill Delight. I say should. He's going to need another auto attack, maybe a Q. The Winter's Wrath is enough to get that one done. But Can is now in trouble. The Leap Strike will take him out. And Vladdy, can you be the hero? That's the question. Finding a death rate, getting a little bit done here, and Yike looks like he's not done just yet. Leap Strike is going to be up for Zeus as the Winter's Wrath not going to find any joy at all, and HLE just wander their way out.
I just feel like Yike over-chased for Delight. He flashed over the wall. If you just take the fight with the rest of your team, I think it's going to go so much better there. They had so many HLE members on low health, and you're committing your flash just to get Delight doesn't feel worthwhile.
Particularly because Set with his passive regens so much health, but actually takes so long. Imagine if, because Delight's out of the fight 100%, if Yike is there.
Flash on Peanut right there even.
Yep, and especially because that gives Kana the opportunity to proc that passive, right? Permafrost in these early fights is crazy strong. GP with his melee attack actually gets to help stack that up, but instead, feels like Humble Life is going to be very happy. Trade favorably in grubs and trade favorably in kills.
I feel like at the very least, you'll kill both Peanut and Zeus if he doesn't chase Delight and he actually commits to that side. So definitely think he got a little bit of blood in his eyes there and just kind of wanted to get that kill as Delight was so low.
Ooh, Facebreaker going to find absolutely nothing at all. Haymaker just to get that shield back as Delight investing his Hex Flash. Thankfully, that one doesn't really go on cooldown, so he can do that one again if he would like. Just trying to fish for some opportunities here towards the bottom side. Peanut finding a control ward as Yike is going to be able to take down his Raptors. Delight moving in, though, could mean a Brambleback steal. One that Yike may not be able to contest. As you can see, pushed under the turret is the bottom lane here of KC. As Yike is going to face check. Facebreaker is going to come through as well. As Yike gets into the brush, does manage to take his red buff, but there's the knock-up. And in comes Zeka. He lands the chain, but Delight goes down first. A 1-for-1, and the red, I guess, was secured by the now dead Sejuani.
Yeah, that's a shutdown going over here to Zeka, though.
Oh dear, Glacial Prison that he just picked up as well. And now Blatty is just dead. Peanut able to come on through with the audacious charge, and oh dear, if it wasn't bad before, it is now. Deadly Flourish is going to catch Viper, who does have to cleanse, and then will be allowed to leave.
And that play towards the red buff, that was at least somewhat understandable. The Vladdy down here, you know they're all there. They were just in your red side jungle, and going down and losing the flash as well is such a big deal because, as we have seen, Zeka is going to keep going for every single chain, and the fact that now you don't have that extra safety tool is a big deal.
I mean, it's just a little bit greedy. I think he was mismanaging the time there. He's thinking, you know, I can get in and actually clear this wave. Kalisto.
Yeah, Facebreaker onto both of them. Cannon Barrage is there. As the flash away from the crash down. Targamas only level 5, but it doesn't actually matter. Yike actually in the perfect position. And Kalis says, yep, I'll just bait you in. But now Zeka looking for even more. Wind becomes lightning. Zeka just, throws out the dash cannon. And now Yike is in trouble as well. The knock-up comes through. Peanut is able to take down Targamas, and now Yike hit by the Haymaker. Zeka has enough damage, and it's a double for Peanut as he comes over and steals it away.
And whereas Kalist finds the outplay initially on the Jhin that he had such a crazy performance on as Zeus, I should gotta get the plate and get out. It's the arrival of Zeka that again is the difference maker. This 2v2 of Peanut and Zeka is just running the game.
I mean, it's kind of like game 2 yesterday against TES. We saw how out of control they got. We can watch this one more time.
Because their bot lane gets outplayed, right? They try and take down the Kalist, but he's able to flash away, doesn't get hit by the damage from the W, and then Yike with great arrival, plus the slowing from the Cannon Barrage. This all looks great. But then, unfortunately, the moment that they see Peanut, it's a little dicey. Look at the outplay from Zach here, by the way. Dash forward, dash cannon. Nothing you can do!
Yeah, where's the sidestep? Well, you actually cannot do that because he does, and that's because he has a dash cannon already. Like this, he was 2-0-2 on his way down here. In a lot of instances, he doesn't have that item and cannot as simply grab that kill. As now Peanut once again on these grubs. It was 2-1 the first time around. I think this time it should be a clean sweep, as it should be 5-1 in the end. A lot of extra side lane power for a Jax composition alongside the Silas is terrifying if you're trying to keep your structures alive. As HLE moving Viper to the mid lane now, looking to set up for that style of play as the arrow is going to connect onto Kalist. Peanut moving in as well, Facebreaker, fantastic. There's the superplexes, oh my god! The Magnet Storm so good! Yike has been in the perfect positions and Delight gonna be going down as well. Yike finally falls, but Zeka is a raid boss! He's just too strong! And this duo cannot be beaten.
It's Zeka and Peanut versus the world here. They are popping off 5-0 and 4, 4-0 and 4. So accelerated in this game, and quietly, Zeus is just getting a bigger and bigger lead on that top side, just like last game.
God, the chain lash damage. Okay, not going to go for another chain. Not absconding his way forward this time as Peanut looking for a glimpse at what our soul is going to be.
And I think if you're a KC fan, you're praying that it is an Ocean, that it's not an Infernal or a Hextech or something like that. That would be so devastating, but it's just a great initial engage here from HLE. The turnaround, though, was unexpected because it's actually Viper that goes down so fast. They didn't realize Vladdy was there.
Actually, every play that we've seen before the arrival of Zeka this game from KC, I think, has looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you see those chains come in, and you just know it's over. All the cooldowns get used. Yes, they get Viper. Yes, they get Delight, who also invested his flash to set up that play. But then they all just become fodder for this 2v2 duo of Peanut and Zeka now, both with incredible gold leads, and it makes the game so hard to play because I think most of KC, Giant Truckers in particular, they gotta get up close to try and get anything done.
And I always find playing in a Mountain Soul as Jhin is horrible because you do so much damage based on missing health. He executes. We'll see.
Well, they're going to go for a 3v1 against Zeka, and Zeka says, I will flash over the wall. That is going to be a good way to get out of it.
It's a buddy cop movie, and he doesn't have his buddy cop. Peanut isn't there, so they're not going to take the fight, you know?
Peanut is in the, in the arc where he's like, I don't want to work with you anymore. You broke too many rules. Who's the, okay,
You're out of control
who's
here.
the rule breaker in that scenario?
I mean, they remind me of the Bash Brothers from the Mighty Ducks.
I don't.
You know, where both
You
of them are
always-
Oh, I like
just,
that one.
You
Yeah,
always
just
make
kind
a-
of bad boys
Yeah.
anyway, you know?
Is that the ducks that are in a row?
What? No, the Mighty Ducks.
Well, the Mighty Ducks do get in a row when they do the flying V.
They do, and it's 2 rows, isn't
Exactly,
it?
yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what you guys are talking about.
Really? You've never seen the Mighty Ducks?
We've talked about this bit. I've talked
I love
with
the bit
you
where Charlie has the rollerblades as well, and he jumps over a car.
about this right here at this desk.
Oh yeah, and you didn't know then either. You haven't done your homework, the required reading?
Okay.
It was months ago, Chronicler.
Okay. Well,
You do know that the LCK is effectively a movie club, you know?
Yeah.
You reference these things that you're supposed to go home and watch so you can discuss.
Yeah, and please tell that to Valdez, who
Yeah.
never does so.
Disappointing.
Yeah, he has
Anyway,
watched some good one, like some classics recently.
KC
Been
right now
impressive.
in a rough spot is, Targamas.
Yeah, Tagama's in a little bit of trouble. That is a beautiful arrow, but doesn't actually do too much here as Vladdy getting pushed around. Once again, though, KC holding themselves together. Another suplex from Delight, who gets a haymaker for the big old shield and uses that to take down his opposite number. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the end as, oh God, yeah, there's those Bash Brothers we were talking about. Vladdy is going to bear the brunt of that as Zek underneath the turret isn't worried at all. The curtains have been called as Viper wanting to get that fancy footwork out and Peanut needing to block at least one of them. Viper now looking for even more, and there it is, Yike finally taking him down. Peanut grabbing yet another kill, though. 6-0-6 for him. And, yeah, this is what happens. It's just Peanut and Zeka are still there as the rest of their team are kind of sort of just dying.
Yeah, perhaps the worst part of all of it, as Peanut's still here, the worst part of all of this is that even with the counter pick, while all of this has been going on, Zayas has built
A 1.3k gold lead.
Yeah. He might die here, but he
gonna take
does
the
get
tower.
the turret.
Well, let's see where the cannon can live as well, as Grandmaster's Light has been brought. There is Delight! The flash over the wall from Kana as the captive audience not going to get too much, and Zayas able to just walk his way out. This is not what I was promised when it came to the Gangplank Jax matchup.
He is 42 CS up right now. Took the tower in his face from the isolated 1v1. Zayas got gapped in game 1, but oh my God, has he been on a mission in game 2 and 3, and now Vladdy in trouble again.
Oh no, it's the Bash Brothers at it again. As Peanut down here towards the bottom side, and oh God, that does not look even a little bit fair.
You know things are bad when your support is in that brush. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I can't help you here. And that's the right call, because if Targamas tries to help him there, he just also ends up dying.
Yeah, and the MasterCard lane economy snapshot, there is at least Kalist with a slight advantage over Viper, who has really tried to do things this game and hasn't really been allowed to. It's actually just Zeka and Peanut against KC, and that seems to be way too much in this game right now.
I mean, Kalista is the one with the gold lead, but he still doesn't even have his first item yet. Zeka's gonna have 2 soon. And so it's like, yeah, you know, you might be ahead of your counterpart, but you are still so far behind the pace of the game because Zeka and Peanut are just ramping it up. And we talked last game about how, you know, they said, you know what, we're not going to skirmish anymore. This game is the opposite. TP's coming in, they're battling again.
Let's see whether Zayas can survive this one. Another arrow is going to sail by majestically, and down goes the Jax. But now Zeka has turned up, and so has the rest of the gang. Facebreaker comes through. Yike gives him the thumbs up. I think he knows that he's well and truly dead. Peanut wanting to take down Canna at the same time. He's going the wrong direction. Takes a while to get through Yike there as well as the audacious charge. When becomes Lightning actually missing onto Canna there as we could see. And Targamas, I think you might just be more food for HLE if you stick around, buddy. As Delight is going to go over the wall. Does have the ignite there, and Viper with the volley will be able to lock that one down. Targamas, like we said before, it's going to be hard for him to be able to do anything as the Deadly Flourish, not really that right now, as it's a double for Viper, and now he's strong.
The way that this game is going is very different, but the flavor does feel the same. As I'm looking at the gold lead right now, Humble Life, they're just taking an inner. Uncontested, they're taking Dragon. You're not supposed to be able to win on all sides of the map.
Yeah, that's not winning on all sides. That's winning
just
on the
winning,
map.
yeah.
Like the map is, they just win at that point. And this is not like, it's a 3.4 thousand gold lead individually for just Zeka.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, Delight as well now. He's got his dead man's done, so he's got so much move speed to set up these fights. I mean, the entire gold leads on the top side is just ridiculous. You're looking at, nearly a 7,000 gold lead just on the top side.
Yeah, and the 2v2 gold lead, we don't even really want to talk about.
And as you mentioned, they're now one Mountain Drake away from a Mountain Soul.
Uh-oh.
Well, some chains are going to connect here as the Cannon Barrage is going to be used by Zeka, and he just obliterates Canna.
Oh my god. I mean, he's 2.5 items by the time the GP just got his
And
Triforce.
it's Shadow Flame second as well. That insult to injury, like that as a snowball item is absurd.
Yeah, it's hard to think how you could possibly stop Zeka from this point. He's got his Seekers as well for the next fight. You know they're going to be going for Mountain Soul. I feel like for KC, you're already preparing for the next game.
I have a foolproof plan.
What's that?
Elder Flip. The great equalizer. That's where we're at. Come on. They're down to 8k gold. Humble Life is going to get, who doesn't get Mountain Soul? Elder Dragon.
Hey, true. There you go.
The problem with that is you have to live 9 more minutes in this game, which I think is going to be really hard.
They have to get to the pit, but they have a Jhin, Maybe they, Kalist, I know his Jhin is great. We saw him pull it out against Homa, and he ended 17-2.
Nice little Jhin W steal.
Well, I think you do have to go for ult. I don't know about the W.
You're like, that's ridiculous. He has to steal with his ultimate.
Yeah. I like my plans zany, but grounded.
Yeah,
okay.
Fair. Well, we'll see if KC can find anything, but I mean, from this far behind, all you can really do is just kind of try to hope to attack Viper and Delight, maybe get some picks there, but I mean, they are just getting ran over on the map. It's just a full court press here from HLE after a very reserved, slow, controlled game where they just dominated the objectives, choked you out. KC are going to send everybody top, but we'll
is it enough? That's the question. As the Winter's Wrath goes wide, they do manage to land that Glacial Prison, and Zeka going to buy some time by breaking this arm guard of his. And it should be enough here, as he's got a Glacial Prison of his own, and now he's bought enough time for the rest of his team to turn up. Delight comes in with the ultimate. Targamas with the Magnustorm going to try and get something done. Delight already dead in this fight. And now Zeus with the counter-strike, going to be able to take down Targamas first, and Yike, no damage back here, as Zeka should be able to hold him in place and take him down. It's another one, godlike now for this Silas, as Vladdy does get his shield back, and Peanut, he might be able to get in there, but he decides not to. Not going to be diving an inhibitor turret just yet, as it is Atakan going down. And this teleport is going to get Zeka over here, and Canna, we saw what happened last time.
Just one turret!
I don't know whether that's going to be allowed. He eats some oranges, but I just don't know whether he's going to be K, guys. I don't think he's going to be K. Legendary now for Zeka, as this is getting difficult to watch here in Game 3.
It's starting to feel a bit like bullying. I mean, they don't even want to let them get a tower in back-to-back games. He's TPing in to deny it while they take the Otacon, while they invade the jungle, while they do everything everywhere all at once. HLE.
Phenomenal movie, but it really does. It's difficult to watch here in League of Legends form.
It is. I mean, Zeka's just, that's a masterclass.
He's level 15.
Oh, and he decides not to go in? I would have thought, like, if this was any other day, he's pressed that chain button again. But not this time.
Not in the finals.
Nope.
At least not this time, but they are setting up a minute 20 until the clock strikes 10, and you gotta go fight. It is gonna be the Mountain Soul on the table. We'll see if they just want to give that up and pray that they can maybe find that angle towards Elder, like you're saying. I mean, it is unironically your best chance to win,
It's literally,
but
unless Humble Life just started giving out shutdowns like it's free ice cream, they're too far ahead.
Yeah.
It's just you can't contest anything.
Well, Zeka did steal a curtain call, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. And he lands all the bullets. Doesn't do very much.
On Yike.
Gave Sejuani a little scratch on the butt there.
Yeah, he certainly did. Now, another curtain call going to come through as there's a Magnet Storm as well. Zeka taking a lot of damage, but goes golden to get away from the Glacial Prison. Down goes the set once again, but that's kind of been Delight's job so far. This series is into the backline. Goes Zeus, he's finding everyone with his counter-strike. Now kind of being pushed away. Vladdy died at some point in that skirmish. And the rest of KC relegated to their inhibitor turret. HLE now able to move back towards this dragon to grab a Mountain Soul in 10 seconds time.
And Delight, the sacrificial set is going to be given up, but that is the jungler now down, meaning that the Mountain Soul is never going to get stolen away. It wasn't likely, but it's now impossible, as Peanut should be able to just pick that one up by himself.
And it's kind of weird because what we were talking about before about where is their engage, it actually has been Delight walking towards the enemy team.
I was so wrong.
And throwing his body in there. We're going to see it right here.
Look at Zeka selling out Viper here, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If Viper gets ulted.
Hey, he has cleanse. It's fine.
Yeah, because Zeka uses his Zhonya's there, also has to flash out. And then the moment Zeus shows up, you know, the 4 versus 5 is the best bet you're going to get as KC. That Jax just runs rampant in the side lane. You know, well, they're just jumping onto inhibitor turrets now.
Well, Zeka versus 2 is not fair for KC at all.
For the 2.
As Vladdy's going to turn up, that might even things out here, as we can see Zeka not moving too far forward. Viper showing up as well. Spots Yike on this control ward. And yeah, so that is Mountain Soul. So now this team that is already very burly with a lot of inherent regen, it has a shield that is just going to repair itself over and over again. 808 for the legendary Zeka there in the mid lane, and Peanut 809 on the Xin Zhao.
Zeka's falling behind. He's got to figure out a way to pick up
get that assist, man.
somewhere.
Well, not in the gold, because he's winning as far as the gold advantage is concerned. So there's at least that
KDA
they
is
can
all
hold
that
on to.
matters. Look at the farm from Peanut, though, by the way. Back-to-back games, he is just power farming. He is actually close to where Viper is as far as
he has more farm than Kana.
Yeah, that is definitely something. Already on 3 items incredibly early. They are just unstoppable. Level 16 now already done. Pre-25 minutes here for Zeka.
I think he knows that Yike's there, as Yike still hasn't moved. Oh, this game of chicken is actually just so interesting.
You legitimately just don't have the raw damage to take down Zeka before help arrives.
When's the last time you saw the
it's a deep flank!
No! Oh, the Crab Rave from Zeka there as well. Wind becomes lightning, but doesn't find Bristle.
Yike.
As Yike is, I mean, this is a mission.
He's going to get out.
Well, let's see whether he can.
He's fine.
He is going to be able to walk over the turret. Yeah, nicely done. Targamas in this 1v... Okay, Zeus doesn't know how to take damage. Yike does manage to land an ulti here, as we can see. Is Zeka going to be able to turn into the Sejuani, picks up the ult. He's legendary again. And Zeus is continuing this onslaught. And if I was Kalista, I would just have no idea what to do. Like, what are you supposed to do? Give him the thumbs up. Maybe that's just the rule. There's Vladdy going to turn up there as well. Zeus inside the enemy base. Delight going to be moving on over as well. And Leap Strike to get him out of there. So at least they convince the Jax to leave.
They got a tower.
Yeah.
We're on the board. Kana takes the tower.
Oh, well, Zeka has found Vladdy again. Chaos Storm sort of everywhere. Flash out. And Delight just does the walk up and ignite maneuver. Yeah. Kingslayer gets a whole bunch of health back. Not going to be able to land the chain here as the Cannon Barrage will help take him down. Kalista there with the 4th shot to the back of the head. So they get the shot down. The legendary Zeka is dead. And it's a 12,000 gold lead. Facebreaker comes on through here onto Targamas. And Peanut turns up. He says, I'm still very legendary.
He hasn't died yet, by the way. Peanut now winning the KDA battle.
Yeah, nailing it. Although actually Zeka is now definable as far as KDA is concerned. Kana is going to get audaciously charged at here by Peanut. Flashes out of the way of the arrow. But this is now minions attacking Nexus turrets. I think game number 3 is done and dusted as HLE will move to match point here in this best of 5 and have now the opportunity to become our first stand champions with another win in this series.
HLE just looking untouchable in back-to-back games. I mean, KC did get a tower in this one, but it was at the cost of the base and the Baron at the very end of the game. They are just completely dominating. The team has looked like they are on a different level than everyone else in this competition. KC gonna have to go back to the drawing board and find a way to be able to get back into this series.
And obviously, the moment that we saw the Silas and the Xin get that far ahead, I think the game is always going to be really hard to play. I'm sure Casey knows that as well. But the fact that the counter pick on Zayas didn't work, that for me is real cause for concern, because you need to keep that guy down. Otherwise, the rest of Humble Life just gets to run free unchecked.
Exactly right. And now HLE find themselves one game away from becoming our inaugural first stand champions, and we'll see if they can close it out in Game 4.